Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Welcome to today's session of Meet the Global Leader. In this session, we discuss about international professional, their story, their student life, their insights from their professional experiences, and some advice to our audience who are mainly studying at universities, currently studying at universities, not have not graduated yet. So it's like a awareness session for them. So they learn about how professionals are doing things in different countries, in different sector, how they have been overcoming challenges, how they have been implementing different skills in different roles, and some of their passion for why they're doing what they're doing. So it actually going to help them understand and broaden their mindset, and also what skills to develop, so that before graduation they develop their knowledge, they develop their skills. So it's a very informative and helpful session for the students. So today we have invited Miss Melanie. She's a strategic doer, inspirational leader, tech enthusiast, a published author, network maven, and with a wealth of experience in strategy, business development, and corporate growth. She has proven herself as a driving force in leading high performing marketing, pre sales, and sales teams, all while maintaining a strong focus on customer excellence. She is based in Zurich, Switzerland. She has an impressive track record of implementing process improvements and driving strategic engagements on both local and global scales, leveraging data driven decision making to achieve sustainable growth. So, without any further ado, we'd like to, and she's an author, writer of The Game Plan, this book. We are going to learn very brief about all of her very big and broad and impressive career. So, let's welcome our guest speaker. So, Miss Melanie, welcome to our session.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor. Thank you very much.
Great. So, like as our audience are students, if you share in brief, how was your student life, and what actually what did you study during your student life, and how you're seeing things the things that you studied and the things that you have been doing. Is there any connection or not? So,
Mhm.
if you share some of your experience on that.
Yeah, no, happy to do. And yeah, I said I'm very much honored to be here, and I hope you can take something out of it. Yeah. So my student life was a bit different maybe than what you have. I assume you study full time here in Switzerland. It's a very special system. We have like a dual system, so you can also work and study at the same time. That's what I did. I started working quite early for a bank, of course. I'm Swiss, so that's what we do. And then I changed after finishing my first years at the bank. I started then studying, and I started my bachelor in tourism management. So it's quite a change, right, from banking, consulting, and then tourism management. And why I did that is just because passion. So I'm a very passionate person, and I believe you need to find your passion and your grit, because that's the only way you will be good, or you will be excellent, and that's the only way you can make a career. So it's, I think that's already a first thing I can provide you as from was my learning. Like find your grit, find your passion, and then follow that dream, even though people say like, oh my god, why she's doing that, because I think that gives brings you a long way. So I did tourism management as a first bachelor. But then I always worked 100%. So I always did my studies in the evenings, or then on the weekends. I had a first master in strategic marketing. And then I just recently finished an executive MBA in corporate strategy. And while studying, it was for me always very challenging, right? I was working 100%. And I still had to provide and perform during work, and then also in the evenings. So for me, the biggest learning is resilience. It's something you sometimes you want to give up, but you have to push through. So that's also something always, even though you think, oh my God, I can't, you can, you have to, and then you will be rewarded afterwards. So you always have to push through. I think that's the thing, and I think it helps. No, I believe it helps to push through if it's something you like and you're passionate about. And then what I also really learned early on in university is to have priorities, right? Because you always have more tasks than you have time, so you need to prioritize. And I think that's very, very important. That's what you also learn. So resilience, passion, and prioritizing in university. But at the same time, I also have to say, university is just the start of your career. It's just the first thing you need to do, and maybe after you finish your university, you figure out, actually, I want to pivot. But you need to have that basis. So university is a must-have. Once you have that, you're a bit freer. You can decide and design your career. You can pivot. Nowadays, you can pivot. Nowadays, you even must pivot. But first university, and then it's also important to always stay learning. Always learn. Take new learnings, take new online learnings, take new techniques. Do it on the side. Learn coding, whatever. Always improve yourself on the hard skills, but also on the soft skills. I come to that later because I think nowadays even more important to have strong soft skills. So I think universities are good for methodology and for have a basis, but let's be honest, reality hits you, and the real world when you work, it's so different. It's so different, and you maybe will use. Sorry to say here, but maybe you will use 30% what you learned on university, because then reality hits you. And so in university, the skills you also learn is not only the hard skills but also the soft skills which you need to take on. That was my biggest learning. Somehow also a bit
Yeah.
of disappointment, but then
No,
yeah,
that is
it's
true. I
different
mean,
levels.
and also we keep we have been used to this. We're used to this word is passion, and like you have to love what you do. So
Yeah.
if you if you used to, what motivated you to pursue a career in business and technology, and how did your early experiences shape your career now? So, and also if you share a little bit about why it is business and technology, because most cases they start the bachelor of business administration and stuff, and how it is different business and technology, why it
Mhm.
is like all combined.
Yeah, so my background is business. Always have been. I always worked in strategy, business development, sales. So I'm always on the business side and leadership side. But I somehow stumbled into technology. So my background is not technology nor engineering, but I think I was really needed in an area early years where technology and engineering came up and no one really understand the business value. So with my understanding of customer experience and what the business value is and what strategy is, I could bridge the technology and the business, and that's how these two came together. And when we speak nowadays about SaaS and technology, right, the industry, I call it, I don't even call it an industry, it's an ecosystem, because every company in the end is a digital tech company or will be in 5 years. So that means you don't need to have a tech background, a hardcore tech background to work in technology, but you need to have this passion for future, for tech, and for SaaS to work in that industry. And when you have a business background, you're very well set out to build the bridge. So that's how
Absolutely.
I
And
came there. Yeah. I have to say, I stumbled into the industry. I had a former manager who called me and said, like, do you want to join a tech company? And I was like, yeah, why not? So that's also something. If you have opportunities, just always say yes. Say more yes than no.
perfect. And also, you mentioned customer experience, sales, but like sometimes, especially in developing countries, or you can say, sometimes there's a saying,
Mhm.
if you cannot, enter into, different roles, or like in different positions or different roles, departments, sales is the last job you choose. So according to you, based on your experiences, how you're saying it as being in sales, how it has shaped you as a person and professional. If you like, if you just share in brief about your how being in sales profession, how it has
Mhm.
been shaping you as a person or as a professional.
Yeah. So maybe we need to clarify a little bit the definition of sales, because we always think sales is only the salesperson, but
Yeah,
everyone sales. You do sales, I do sales, everyone does sales in every minute. So it's like sales is so essential, but we always forget it, or we always think it's a bit like, oh, who wants to work in sales? But without sales, nothing works. You can have the best product, if no one sells it, so you're doomed. So for me, it was clear that I started in marketing and business development and strategy, and this is also very important. And I saw how important sales is, right? And then I also have to say I never did um, product sales or insurance sales. So I worked in consulting, and there I did sales or for engineer for very complex million billion dollar project. So I did more like this kind of sales, where it's a lot about technical knowledge, a lot about strategy, a lot about understanding the market, a lot about understanding the client needs. What are you better than the competitor? So it's this kind of sales. And also this is what technology sales is, right? It's always very complex, and you have to understand the client, their needs, and how your product best can solve their needs and bring added value to the table. And so it's a lot about hard hard skills knowledge, but a lot about soft skills as well, and a lot about leadership. So I think sales is one of the best schools for life you can have.
absolutely. You have mentioned that like strategy. You work with strategy, so you have developed strong skills in strategy development, business transformation, and team leadership that you have
Yeah.
mentioned. Can you walk us through your approach to building a successful team, and what strategies do you use to ensure successful implementation? And before that, I just want to what is strategy and transformation according to you? Business transformation.
Yeah. So strategy, I mean, there is no one liner about strategy. Strategy is not like
No.
mathematics. There is no like there is a gray zone. Everyone has a little bit a different understanding of strategy, right? So my understanding of strategy, according also to some books, is first of all you have a goal, a vision, and the strategy is the way to get to that vision, and you need to take on that strategy decision. And I think strategy for me is a lot about making decisions, the right decisions, informed decisions, and also saying no to other opportunities, because you can't, that's a strategy, right? And then also aligning the strategy to the vision and to the capabilities and resources you have. So it's more the path to go there. And also nowadays, the strategy needs to be adapted based on what's happening outside and then how fast it is. So strategy is not tactical; it's really long term, but it's also really about hardcore decision making. In the end, you need to say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And transformation is a really interesting word because it became a bit of a buzzword nowadays, right? But transformation is goes for me a bit hand in hand with strategy, because nowadays you say, okay, we have this vision of the company A. It needs to be faster, digital, more agile, and then you have a strategy to go there. But then you see, but for the going there, our resources or our process or our, I don't know, our procurement needs to change, needs to transform, because with the status quo we have, we can't fulfill the strategy and the vision we have. So transforming is really for me about making sure we are on the right place to fulfill the strategy.
Great. And like you also
Oh, you
have
asked
mentioned
about
several
team
times.
building as well, right? You asked about, sorry.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah,
It's just a quick team building. I'm super passionate about leadership and team building because I think we always underestimate the power of the how important people are, especially nowadays. So for me, a good team sets together that I, as a leader, can stand in the back because I provide the right framework that my team members are able to shine and use their superpower. So that means for me, I always told my team, I'm your marketing agency. I make sure you shine because when you shine, I shine. So I always, yeah, we had clear strategy, clear vision. They were informed about it. They had their own responsibility, their ownership. But I'm always, I lead with trust because I have trust is the basement nowadays because I can't control everything. I don't want to control everyone and everything, so I need to trust them because they're experts. But I work together with them on the vision and the strategy, and then they do their magic in their own expertise and field. So it's a lot about trust, empowerment, and also giving them ownership.
absolutely. And speaking of, team. So, say for example, what are the skill sets that you look for, and you always like to have in your team, so that only students can understand that how, like employers value skills, or what type of skills they look for before hiring staff, or so what are the skills you like most, that if this person has skill sets like this, you would like to have that person in your team.
Mm. Yeah, it's a very good question, but it's also a very challenging answer because it really depends on what do you want to, again, what is your vision and strategy? What do you want to achieve? And then you need to, as a leader, see, okay, I have maybe skill A, B, C, but I'm lacking skill D, right? So you need to look then for skill D. Or another team has everything, but they say they don't work together. So then it's more about the process and the team spirit and the team collaboration. So it's really you need to. I think you need to see where you want to go as a company, as a leader, what is lacking, what is missing, and then hire for that. So that means for sure you need to have the hard skills. But I think to stick out in a very competitive environment, it's important to have also social skills and soft skills and also highlight them when you speak to a hiring manager. Because a lot of people are very good in the hard skills, and there
Yeah,
it's very hard to stick out. But if you
yeah.
have like saying, this is my passion, this is my grit, if you tell a story about your skills, try to stick out.
So you have mentioned, regarding about prioritizing stuff.
Yeah.
So how do like you work with, you lead a team. So how do you prioritize and delegate tasks to your team, and what strategies do you use to build strong relationships with colleagues and partners?
Yes. So first the priority, right? The prioritize.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know, we all have been there, done that. Everyone wants everything now, and everyone, and when you work in a bigger corporate, everyone says their task is the most important. So for me, it always helped to have um, to have a clear understanding what is the team or department goal and strategy, and then see does that task align with that strategy, and is it urgent or is it important, because a lot of things are important but then it may be not urgent. So that's also the difference, the priority, right? And then also it helps me to say, to set boundaries when I know, okay, this is in line of the strategy, this needs to be now because we have the roadmap, we have a client meeting or whatever. But then also I can say, but this is out of strategy, or this is not important for this quarter. So it really helps me. But that also means that you as a person or as an employee need to be a bit smart and see, okay, this is the boundaries I can set because it's based on the strategy. And for that, you need to understand what is important for your leader. So you can also say, okay, I know it for him is important A, so maybe I do A first.
Perfect. And also, combining all your experiences. If you share what are the, so far you have seen in your professional experiences, what are the, key skills that everyone should develop according to you to excel in their professional sector?
Yeah, I mean, as said before, it really depends where you want to go, where your path lies, right? I mean, there are some hard skills everyone need to learn. I'm pretty sure that's what you also in your university curriculum is taught. And then for me, I come back to that point about finding your passion and your grit. So you also need to see where you see yourself, where do you want to go, and what gaps of skills do you have. Maybe you already know everything and then you're fine. But then also ask yourself, is that the passion? Is that something I like to do? Because if you just do it, then you won't go all the long. It's like career is a marathon, not a sprint. So you really need to have something you like, so you have a lot of energy for the whole
Yeah.
way. So I think that's also very important. And then, as I said, keep on learning, keep on doing it. And there is a very nice framework I like. I also we speak with when I mentor people is this Ikagai. So it's about thinking what you like to do, where you're good at, and what the world is, what the world actually, what the world needs, and what
Yeah,
people are also happy to pay for. And your sweet spot should be in the middle.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a very great because I liked it as well.
Yeah.
And like this is technologies and innovation. We are used to hear that a lot of times, especially for
Hmm.
developing countries. It's like, innovation, it will take a lot of time, or it's a huge, organizing stuff. I have to have a lot of I have to have a great idea,
Hmm.
fund and stuff to work with innovation. So there are so many misconceptions as well regarding this. So can you share your thoughts on the role of digital innovation and technology trends in shaping the future of business?
Yeah, I mean, so that's also, let me circle back because that's, I think, that's why it's important that you not that you also try to do some online courses on coding or on
Yeah,
better understanding AI or on better understanding quantum computing, however that might be, because these are the tech trends. They will come and they will still ongoing. So you need to prepare yourself that this will be the reality, even more the reality in the future. These are the big things, which I think they still only started. So we will see a lot more of that coming, and how it will shape the business. I mean, it's already ongoing, right? It's full-fledged ongoing. I don't think there is an industry where you don't have seen any disruption from digital innovation, and that means that starts with Uber over Airbnb, but this is also, for
yeah,
example, in banking. Everything is online nowadays. Everything is faster. Everything is right now, right, available globally. So I don't see any industry which hasn't been disrupted by digital, and it will go further on. And it especially, I think, it will become faster. And human beings will automate as much as possible. So also make sure you have skill sets which can't be disrupted by digital innovation, and also have skill sets which are very much human, because as long as they're very much human, it can't be disrupted and automated.
absolutely. You're a published author, so like, and you have key roles. You have lead team to lead, and you have some like assignments, tasks. So apart from that, like if you go like in personal life, so how do you balance your professional, like how do you balance your work life and personal life, and how uh, did you manage to like put enormous time after writing you like being as an author?
Yeah. So I have to say I'm very bad at managing my work-life balance. I am very like maybe also like you are, right? Not very good at it. Mostly work too much. Mostly don't have enough time for my private life. Um, which is also a learning for me, because I think in the end, what counts. I've never heard like you heard these stories of old people on their last breath. No one ever said like, "Oh my God, I wish I worked more."
Yeah.
So
No.
don't forget to live, because it's short. So that's just like because me, I have never been really good in balancing work-life balance, but how I did it in the past and how I also was quite successful managing it is really about prioritization, and also boundaries, right? So you can't do anything, you can't do everything you want to do. So it really comes back to what you like to do, where you're good at, because if you're good at it, it goes easy for you and you're much more efficient and effective. So that's the first thing. Choose a job which you're good at, which you like. So you have like so you don't always wake up with a headache. So that's gone, right? And then at the same time, um, prioritize also not only what you do now, but also think about yourself as a company. So you need to have a long-term strategy. You need to see yourself as a company, invest in yourself, like as a company would invest in the future. That means run the business, so do your job, but also think already ahead and see, okay, so I want to be XYZ in the future. So I still also need to have time to invest in my future, maybe with learning or maybe with business developing new skills or maybe with, I don't know, traveling, whatever. So things that also you see and you can invest in your future. And this structured thinking helped me to prioritize my time. Um, but yeah, and then also I there are always times where you just work a bit more, have less free time, and you just need to push through it. But I think you need to see this as see yourself like as a again as a business which has ups and downs, ups and downs. So you can have like hard times where you work a lot, where you don't have time for your friends or your family, and that's fine as long as it is a phase and not your whole life.
Absolutely. And whenever there is a challenging situation, so what is your approach when you see any challenge in front of you?
Yeah, so I had a lot of challenges. Some challenges were given, some challenges were also because I was most of the time in my roles, I was the youngest in the management, or there was the youngest, or was the only woman. So there were anyway, you had even more challenge, right? Because you were kind of a minority. So you had to prove yourself even more because the challenge was there, but then everyone thought like you can't overcome the challenge. So you have even then more yeah being building up resilience, and I love challenges because after from every challenge you learn so much more from when from time everything goes smooth. Not that you always need to be in these challenging situations, but embrace the challenge and see
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a chaotic situation. I will make it through because that's life, and I'm pretty sure I will learn much more than without this challenging situation. And how to approach it, for me it was always really like seeing the big picture. So what is the real challenge? It's not the emotion, like not oh my god, the emotions around it, but like what is the fact, what is the challenge behind that, and is it something I can solve, is it within my area of control or not? If it's not within my area of control, I can't do anything about it, but I can influence it. If it's in my area of direct control, then then I'm pretty sure I will find a solution to solve it. So it's also about believing in yourself and somehow structuring the challenge, and then do it step by step. It's really coming back about strategic thinking about your life.
Yes, great, true. And we have challenges like in personal life and student life. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you always try to avoid it, it is not going to get away. So the how we're dealing with it is very important. Yeah, the
Yeah,
strategy and
and also, and yes, and I think it's also really a lot about mindset, right? Because you will always have challenges. Everyone has always challenges. So then it's really about how do you see these challenges? Do you see this as an opportunity of growth and pivot
absolutely.
and change with a positive mindset? Everything goes so much easier if you see it as a positive and as a learning opportunity and say like, okay, it's a challenge. I will make it through it. It's like a wave. I don't know how, and I don't know what the end result is, but you will make it through it. But try to be as structured as possible, to be as calm as possible, and to take all the learnings with you.
Absolutely. And as a you're a published author, how it is or it has been helping you in your career.
Yeah, well, I have to say my book is more about a bit more on my private side, but also about challenges. It's about challenges and how to overcome them and how to see life a bit lighter. But um, it didn't help me directly in my career, but indirect. Why I say indirect? Because I learned new skills. I learned new writing skills. I learned new resilience. I learned new going through a different process, which I have never done, right? I've never published a book, so it was something new. So I learned new skills, which I can use now in my business environment as well. Because I'm a strong believer, whatever you learn, you can always use. Maybe not now, but in the future. So I'm pretty sure it helped me there. And then also I love networking, and I believe everything is about networking. So now I
Yes,
have been invited to speak about my book here in Zurich for networks, which maybe I've before they wouldn't have approached me. So it's really, yeah,
yeah,
try also in the business world, not artificial, but try to be an authentic brand, but treat yourself as in the business world also a bit like a brand, like again as a little
yeah,
company. In the business world, you're a little company. So what is your brand? How can you connect all the things you do in life to make it holistic and also to take on different areas of learning and to nurture your brand?
absolutely. Can you share your experience as a head of strategy and business development at the small village Botswana, and how
Yeah.
it has shaped your perspective on social impact? So, if you also shed some light on impact. So,
Yeah, exactly. So, first of all, this is an NGO, like it's a charity, and we started it 6 years ago. I started it with my sister. Now we have six people on the board, and now it's quite international and growing. And the core focus of the charity is to empower women and female-led business in Botswana in Africa. And for me, it was an absolute. My sister asked me to join that because she lives in Africa. So for me, it was an absolute no-brainer to give back because I'm coming from I totally see that I'm in Europe. We're very much privileged and we haven't done anything for that. We were just lucky. So for me, it was always clear that I want to give back. I give back a lot. I do a lot here, community work in Switzerland for underprivileged people. I do it in Africa. I help them always at eye level. So we do a lot of like a startup, like modern angel investing, and we also mentor them in their business journey. And it gives me a lot of energy back. So coming back to do something which you're passionate about. Yes, it's also something on top of my list and of my full day, but it always gives me so much more back when I see the impact and when I see what we could have achieved with helping them, which is sometimes so much more worth it than, I don't know, selling to another company where you think, okay, yeah, is it that really impactful? Maybe not, but it's for sure impactful when I use my time in Africa. So it's really, it taught me a lot. I'm really privileged, and also I'm really honored to help these women.
Perfect. And how do you think your experience in the non-profit sector has influenced your approach to business and leadership, and what insights can you share with students?
Yeah. So, I mean, we work there with a totally different culture, right? And it's totally, we're here in Europe and they're in Africa. So it's a totally different culture. So for me, it was really, really helpful to have a better understanding of different cultures and how people approach different areas of work and different areas of life, and what is important, what is essential. And also because it's like a startup. So we founded the charity or the non-profit organization, and we build it up and we let it grow like a startup. So I learned a lot about entrepreneurship, which I couldn't have never learned in that area when I just worked in my corporate. So all the learnings I have there, I can totally bring directly into my my business life here in Switzerland. And I come back again. It sounds like a pray, but I say it again: treat yourself as a company and as a brand, and see what is your core skill and how can you use it indifferently, and how can you learn from this end, and how can you bring the learning to the other end. So be smart, and because there's always something you can transfer, the skills.
Absolutely. And we're almost at the end of our session. There's so much to know and learn from your experiences. But we'll publish like a blog interview, so students can learn more about your experience and stuff. But the last question is, like how students before graduation can use the skill of networking for
Hmm?
their future professional career.
Yes. So happy you mentioned that, because I think we both are firm believer in networking, right? The world is a village.
Yes,
So somehow everyone knows somehow everyone. It's really funny, and so that means networking is key. And networking is also key in a world where, for example, recruitment is done via AI. So how do you want to stick out if everyone uses ChatGPT or AI to write the resume? So you need to stick out to a personal connection, and the personal connection is done via networking. And so I think networking is essential, and it is the one of the key essential skills in your career, when you start until you end your career, because you will always have you all. It's such a complex, competitive, fast world. So you need to know the right people who can help you and who can help, and you can help them. So networking is essential, to grow, to ask, to have a community. So it's yeah, it's the start and the beginning of your career. And I think, for example, for you now, when you go out there, see which companies you want to work in, see and look if someone, and ask around, because networking is a lot about asking around, saying, hey, I want to work at company A, do you know someone who works there? And I'm pretty sure someone knows someone who works there, and then they can make an introduction, and then it's so much more easier through that introduction
yeah,
and just sending in your resume. So yeah.
great. So, Melanie, thank you so much. Like for your time, for very briefly but to the point, the things that you mentioned, and continuously you have pointed out, like very powerful like keywords, I must say, like passion, greed, resilience, priority, innovation, technology, and like how um, networking, all combining these. And if anyone looks for what they like, what they love to do, and they combine or match their skill sets, and continuous learning, this is very
Yeah,
powerful, like advice, I must say, that sometimes when we are in professional sector, we feel like, oh, we are done, we have the
yeah,
job, we are in business, we don't need to learn anything, we're just going to retire after 30 or 40 years later. That is the mindset in especially in developing countries. For 30 or 40% of the professionals think like that, but this is not the case, like you mentioned, that if we don't update or continue learning new things, we're going to be obsolete.
yeah.
So this is very powerful, and definitely we would like to say thank you on behalf of School of Entrepreneurship Development for like for a lot of activities and tasks you have like shared some of your insights and experiences for the students of Bangladesh, I must say. And thank you so much for that and for your time. We wish you very best of luck at what you do, and we'll keep in touch. If there is an opportunity, we'll collaborate in near future.
Yes, thank you so much. And everyone who has like questions afterwards, I'm super happy about answering them. Also, via LinkedIn, find me on LinkedIn, ask me questions. Happy to do that.
Yeah, it's the best way to network, and
Yes,
we also encourage students to connect and ask questions, learn more, and
yeah,
it may open doors for a lot of opportunities.
perfect. Thank you so so much for your time.
Thank you so much for your time, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.